I want you to close your eyes for a second. Unless you are driving, if you're in the truck, keep them open,
It's
obviously.
safe to come open.
But I want you to go to a specific place mentally. It is mid-December. You are in Michigan.
Oh, I know this place.
The sky is that permanent shade of gray we get for 4 months straight. It's cold. You are sitting in your office, or maybe you are at your kitchen table because the office is freezing,
Okay.
and you are looking at a spreadsheet.
The year-end review, the moment of truth.
Exactly. You have been grinding for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say grinding, I don't mean the hashtag hustle version you see on LinkedIn.
No, this is the ugly grind.
I mean the ugly stuff. I mean missing dinner 3 nights a week. I mean checking your email at every single red light between the job site and the supplier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the constant low-level hum of anxiety that lives in the pit of your stomach about payroll, about that one client who won't pay, about the weather delays.
It's the grind that wears down your molars because you're clenching your jaw while you sleep.
That is the one.
Yeah.
So you are looking at this spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Back in January, you set a number, a big number.
A huge number.
Maybe it was 750,000.
Yeah.
It was the Holy Grail, $1 million in revenue. That number felt like the summit of Mount Everest when you wrote it down.
Sure.
You told yourself, if I hit this number, everything changes.
Yeah.
If I hit this number, I have made it.
The when-then trap. When
Right.
I hit the number, then I will feel successful.
Right. So you look at the bottom line, and there it is. $1,002,000.
You did it.
You did it. You actually crossed the finish line. You beat the game. The confetti should be falling from the ceiling. The Chariots of Fire theme song should be blasting through the house.
Yeah, you should feel this rush of euphoria, this overwhelming sense of victory.
But the room is quiet.
it is dead silent.
You sit back in your chair. You stare at the number.
Uh-huh.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like you just won the Super Bowl. You feel like you just checked buy milk off a grocery list.
It feels hollow. So hollow. And the scariest part, you realize you are just as exhausted today with $1 million business as you were yesterday with a $900,000 business.
Right.
You still missed your kids' soccer games. You are still the bottleneck for every single decision.
And you realize that the money didn't fix the feeling.
That is the terrifying moment. Because if winning feels like losing, why on earth are we playing the game?
Exactly.
This is what we are digging into today. We are calling it the empty victory paradox.
It's a really good name for it.
And to help us unpack this, we are looking at some incredible insights from Ryan Hurst at Media Ace Advisors. He has been in the trenches with service business owners, specifically right here in the Midwest, Lansing, Grand Rapids.
The guys who we're talking to right now.
Exactly. He's been interviewing them for the second edition of his book, Profit Foundation.
And what he is finding is that this hollowness isn't an anomaly. It is almost a predictable crisis point. It is a structural flaw in how we set goals. So today, we are going to talk about why you are probably setting safe goals that are actually sabotaging your happiness. We're going to look at the psychology behind it, something called defensive pessimism.
Which sounds complicated, but it's something we all do.
Totally. And we are going to break down a metaphor that I think completely changes the game. The difference between your GPS coordinates and the cabin on the lake.
That metaphor alone is worth the price of admission. It fundamentally shifts how you look at a P&L statement.
So settle in. If you have felt that hollowness, if you have hit a goal and thought, is this it? This deep dive is for you. Let's start with the diagnostic.
Okay.
Ryan Hurst talks about a phenomenon he calls the silence in the room.
This is fascinating because it happens almost every time he starts a consulting engagement. He sits down with a business owner, someone smart, capable, successful by most standards, and he asks a simple question. What is your revenue goal for this year?
And usually, as business owners, we have that number locked and loaded. We practice saying it in the mirror.
Exactly. They snap back. 1.2 million or 500,000. It is immediate. It is a rehearsed metric. We are trained to know our numbers.
Right. That's business 101. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business.
But then Hurst asks the follow-up question, and this is the one that causes the glitch in the matrix.
Okay.
He asks, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about that number?
And that's the silence.
Dead air. The owner pauses. They look up at the ceiling tiles. They shuffle their papers. They might take a sip of coffee to buy time.
You can just picture it.
And finally, they say something like, a 6, or it's a solid 7. You know, it's responsible growth.
Never a 10.
Almost never a 10. And that gap between the clarity of the number and the fuzziness of the excitement is where the problem lives. Hurst calls it the 5-10 goal trap.
A 5-10 goal. That just sounds depressing.
It is. I mean, think about what a 5-10 or a 6-10 actually means emotionally.
That means obligation.
It means, I guess I should do this. It means this seems like the responsible adult thing to do.
It sounds like paying taxes. Or getting a colonoscopy. I guess I should do this because it's responsible.
Exactly. And here's the problem. Running a service business is not like filing taxes. It requires an immense amount of energy.
Constant energy.
It requires problem solving, resilience, late nights, early mornings. If your emotional connection to the goal is a 6, you do not have enough fuel in the tank to get over the walls that are going to pop up.
Because walls always pop up.
Always. A key employee quits. A client refuses to pay. The economy takes a dip.
Your truck breaks down.
If your goal is just reasonable, when you hit that wall, you stop. You look at the wall and say, you know what, this isn't worth it.
Right, I'm good.
But if you have a 10-10 excitement level, you run through the wall.
But hold on, I want to push back on this a little bit because I
Right.
know a lot of the guys listening.
Okay.
They are practical. They are tradesmen. They aren't looking for excitement and passion every day. They're looking for stability.
For sure.
Isn't there an argument that setting a boring, safe goal is actually the smart move? If I have 5 guys on payroll and I swing for the fences with a 10-10 excitement goal and I miss, people lose their jobs. Isn't the 5-10 goal just responsible risk management?
That is the most common objection. And it sounds logical on the surface.
It feels logical.
But it is actually a psychological trap. It's what psychologists call defensive pessimism.
That's the pessimist.
Okay, unpack
Yeah.
that. Because to me, pessimism just sounds like being a grump.
Right, but it's actually a cognitive strategy. It was identified back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Essentially, it is the strategy of setting lower expectations to protect yourself from the sting of disappointment.
Oh, I do this with sports teams all the time. The Lions are probably going to lose.
Yep.
That way, if they lose, I was right. If they win, I'm happy. It's emotional hedging.
Exactly. It's emotional armor.
Yeah.
In your personal life or watching football, that's fine. It keeps you sane.
Right.
But in business, specifically for the owner, it backfires. Because in business, your outcome is directly correlated to your input.
When you watch the Lions, you can't affect the game. But in your business, your energy affects the game.
So if I set a low bar, I give low effort.
You give safe effort. If you set a goal of $500,000 when you know you could probably do $750,000, you are protecting yourself from failure.
Okay.
If you miss $500, you'd be devastated. But since it's easy, you aren't worried. The problem is a goal that you are only halfway committed to gets halfway effort. You stop innovating. You stop pushing for that extra efficiency. You tolerate mediocrity in your team because, hey, we're on track for the safe number.
You coast.
You drift. And drifting is dangerous because while you are drifting toward your safe goal, the market is changing. Competitors are getting hungry.
The world doesn't stop.
And suddenly you find yourself with the worst of both worlds. You have all the stress of running a business, the payroll, the liability, the headaches, but you have none of the exhilaration of chasing something you love.
So you're just left with the bad parts.
You are running a marathon just to finish, not to win.
That is a miserable way to live. Running a marathon just to say you didn't quit, but hating every step.
And that leads to burnout. Burnout doesn't usually come from working too hard. It comes from working hard on things that don't matter to you.
It comes from the shoulds.
The shoulds.
I should grow 10%. I should hire another crew. I should buy that new truck.
Right. We look at industry standards. We look at what the guy down the street is doing.
Yeah.
And we adopt their goals. But those goals feel like chores. They are obligations.
You can feel the weight of them.
And if you are waking up every morning dreading the work required to hit your goal, you are chasing a number, not a vision.
Okay, so we are chasing numbers. We are chasing coordinates. This brings us to the metaphor that I think is the centerpiece of this whole discussion.
The big one.
The GPS versus the cabin.
Yes. This is from Ryan Hurst's work, and it clarifies the distinction beautifully.
Lay it out for us.
Okay. Think about a road trip. Most business owners are obsessed with the GPS coordinates. Latitude 42.7325 north, longitude 84.555 west.
Very precise.
Yeah.
Very technical.
Extremely precise, measurable, time-bound. That is a goal. Revenue of $1 million, profit margin of 15%, headcount of 12.
All the things you put on a business plan.
These are coordinates. They answer the question where or what.
But they are boring. I mean, nobody gets goosebumps looking at a latitude line.
Exactly. You cannot fall in love with a coordinate. But the vision
Okay.
is the cabin on the lake. It's knowing that those coordinates lead to a specific cedar cabin where you are going to spend a week with your family, where you're going to wake up and smell the pine trees, where you're going to turn off your phone and teach your kid how to fish off the dock.
That's the why.
That is the emotional destination. The
Yeah.
coordinates are just the instructions to get there.
I see.
The problem is most business owners have the coordinates punched in. They're staring at the revenue target, but they have completely forgotten about the cabin. They don't know why they are driving anymore.
And when you forget the cabin, the drive becomes unbearable.
Think about it. If you hit traffic, which is a metaphor for business problems,
Right, a crew not showing up.
or you get a flat tire, or the transmission blows, if all you have is a set of numbers on a screen, you might just turn around.
You'd say, this isn't worth it.
This isn't worth the hassle. I'm going home.
But if you can see the cabin,
If you have that image in your head, if you can feel the breeze on the dock, you change the tire. You wait out the traffic. You rebuild the transmission on the side of the road if you have to.
you'll do whatever it takes.
Because the destination pulls you forward. The how becomes bearable because the why is compelling.
This connects back to what we said earlier about the 510 excitement. The GPS coordinate is a 510.
For sure.
The cabin is a 1010.
Precisely. Let's make this real for the listeners. Let's look at some examples of how you translate a boring business goal into a vision.
Yeah, give me the translation dictionary.
Okay. The goal, the GPS coordinate,
Wow.
hit $500,000 in revenue.
Standard goal.
Now, the vision, the cabin. Build a business stable enough that my kids are proud to tell their friends what their dad does.
Wow. Okay, that hits different. One is a bank deposit. The other is legacy and pride.
Here's another one. The goal, increase profit margin by 10%. Snooze. Right. The vision, create enough surplus cash so I can take every Friday off to coach my daughter's soccer team.
See, that is specific, and it changes the urgency. If I'm looking at a P&L and I see waste, I'm not just seeing lost margin.
No.
I'm seeing that waste is costing me Friday afternoon. I'm going to fix that waste immediately.
Exactly. You fight harder for the Friday than you do for the percentage point. One more.
Okay.
The goal, the GPS, hire 2 employees.
A tactical move.
The vision, the cabin, stop being the bottleneck so I can sleep at night without panic attacks about the schedule.
Stop the panic attacks. That is a destination I think a lot of us want to visit.
The revenue, the head count, the margins, they are just the fuel. They are the gas in the tank. The vision is where you are actually trying to go.
Right.
And if you have a full tank of gas but nowhere to go, you're just idling in the driveway.
Okay, I'm sold on the concept. I want the cabin. I want the 1010 vision. But this is the hard part.
It is.
I feel like my brain, and probably the brains of a lot of our listeners, is wired for the GPS. We are wired for the numbers.
We're trained that way.
If you ask me right now what my goal is, my reflex is to say growth. How do we dig past that? How do we find the cabin if we've forgotten where it is?
It requires a process Hurst calls drilling down. It is basically an interrogation technique. You have to interrogate yourself.
Okay.
And the golden rule is the first answer is never the real answer.
The first answer is the PR answer.
It's the safe answer. It's the answer you think a good business owner should say. To get to the truth, you have to ask, what does that give you? At least 3 times.
Let's role play this. I want to show the listeners how uncomfortable this actually is.
Let's do it.
I'll be the business owner. You be the consultant.
Okay, let's do it. So you're a business owner in, let's say, Lansing. What is your goal for this year?
My goal is financial security. I want to have a solid cushion in the bank.
That sounds reasonable. But what does financial security actually give you?
It gives me peace of mind. I don't have to stress about the bills.
That's drill level 1. You moved from money to a feeling, peace of mind. But that's still vague.
Right.
What does peace of mind look like on a Tuesday? What does it physically feel like?
It feels like sleeping. It means I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. wondering if payroll is going to clear.
Okay.
It means I'm not snapping at my wife when she asks how work was.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Not snapping at your wife. That's visceral. But let's go one deeper.
All right.
Drill level 3. If you are sleeping through the night and you aren't snapping at your wife, what does that allow you to do that you can't do right now?
It allows me to be present. It allows me to actually sit at the dinner table and hear what she's saying instead of just staring at her while I'm mentally recalculating an estimate.
And what does that mean?
It means I can save my marriage from the business.
Boom. There it is.
Wow. Yeah, that got heavy.
Your goal isn't financial security. Your goal is reclaiming my marriage from business anxiety.
That is a 10-10 goal.
That is a mission. Now look at how that changes your strategy. If your goal is financial security, maybe you take on 5 extra horrible clients just to pad the bank account.
Right, because money is money.
But those clients cause more stress, which makes you snap at your wife more, which destroys the actual goal.
So by chasing the money, I was actually killing the vision.
Exactly. But if the goal is save the marriage, be present, you might realize, hey, I don't need more revenue, I need better systems. Or I need to fire the stressful clients. Or I need to hire an admin so I can leave at 5 p.m.
The whole plan changes.
The tactic changes completely once you know the true destination.
There was a case study in the notes about a restoration business owner that really stuck with me.
Yes.
And restoration is a brutal industry. 247 fires, floods, sewage. It never stops.
It is a grueling life.
Mm-hmm.
This owner was targeting $1.1 million in revenue. And when Hearst asked him about his excitement, he was at a 6.
A 6 for over $1 million.
He was dragging himself toward this number.
$1.1 million is a lot of money. Why wasn't he excited?
Because the number meant nothing to him. He was already making good money. The extra $100 K wasn't going to change his life.
So what was the real goal?
Through the drilling down process, he realized his real goal, his 10-10, was being home for dinner 4 nights a week.
4 nights. That's a specific, tangible metric.
And here's the magic part. Once the destination became dinner with kids, he stopped accepting every single job.
Wow.
In restoration, the instinct is to say yes to everything because it's an emergency. He started saying no to jobs that were too far away or too low margin.
Gutsy move.
He stopped working weekends just because...
And what happened to the business? Did it crash?
No, it became more profitable. Because he stripped away the noise, the business began to serve the life rather than consuming it.
That is the phrase right there. The business serving the life. I think for 90% of the people listening, the business is the master.
It's the beast.
We serve the beast. We feed it our time, our energy, our relationships, hoping it will eventually give us a treat.
Yeah.
But this approach flips the script. You tell the business what it works for.
And specificity is the key. There was another example, a landscaper from Grand Ledge.
Shout out to Grand Ledge.
His vision wasn't just growth. Growth is a vague cloud.
Right. It's meaning.
His vision was specifically being free to coach his son's baseball team at Patriarch Park.
I know Patriarch Park. I can picture the diamonds.
Exactly. When you have a concrete image, I am standing on the third baseline at Patriarch Park at 5:30 p.m. on a Tuesday, that pulls you forward.
Totally.
When you are tired at 2 p.m. and a problem comes up, you solve it fast because you have a place to be. You aren't just working until you're done.
You're working to get to the field.
Yes.
It creates a hard stop. It creates boundaries. And God knows we need boundaries in this industry.
This leads us into a really sensitive but critical area for a lot of service businesses, especially in the trades. Succession and legacy.
Oh man, the family business dynamic. That is a whole other layer of psychology.
It is. Many service businesses are multi-generational. You have the plumber whose dad started the company, or the HVAC owner who hopes his daughter will take over.
Right.
There is a specific trap here. Hearst calls it the family business trap.
Is this where the owner feels obligated to keep going just to pass the baton?
Yes. There was an example of an owner doing succession planning, but his excitement level was a 5-10. He was doing it because he felt he had to. It felt like a duty.
Like a chore.
My dad built this. I kept it alive. Now I have to give it to my son.
But if the business is a chaotic, stress-filled nightmare, what are you actually giving your son?
You're giving him a prison sentence. And deep down, the owner knew that. That's why he wasn't excited. He felt guilty.
He felt like he was passing on a burden.
He felt like he was handing his kid a grenade.
So how do you turn that into a 10-10? Because succession planning sounds about as exciting as reading a legal contract.
You reframe the goal. The shift happens when you move from handing over the business to transforming the business from a burden into an asset worth inheriting.
Worth inheriting. That is powerful.
It is. The owner realized, I don't want to give my kids a business that destroys their work-life balance like it did mine. If I hand them this chaos, I'm cursing them.
Wow.
So the new vision became, build a machine that runs without me so my son can own it without being consumed by it.
That completely changes the why of process improvement. You aren't writing a standard operating procedure because a consultant told you to.
Not at all.
You are writing it so your son can go to his kid's soccer game 10 years from now.
Precisely.
Mm.
It connects the dry, boring task of documentation to the deep emotional desire to protect your family. You are building a shield for your children.
That's a motivator.
That is a 10-10 motivation.
I love that. It takes the guilt out of it and replaces it with love. But I want to get practical for a minute.
Let's do it.
We have talked about the vision, the psychology, the family stuff. But I can hear the guys in the trucks right now saying, that's beautiful, but I have a business to run.
How does this help me tomorrow?
Yeah. Does having a cabin on the lake vision actually change how I bid a job tomorrow morning? Does it change who I hire?
It acts as a razor, a decision-making razor. When you have a 10-10 vision, everyday decisions become binary. Does this get me closer to the vision, or does it move me further away?
Give me an example regarding clients. We all have those clients.
We all know the 5-10 clients. These are the energy drainers, the hagglers, the ones who call you at 9 p.m. on a Sunday.
The ones who ask for a discount after you've already agreed on a price. The ones who watch your crew work and criticize how they hold a shovel.
Those are the ones. Now, be honest. If your goal is just revenue at all costs, if you are just staring at the GPS coordinate trying to make the number go up, do you take that client?
You take them. Because money is money. $5,000 from a jerk spends the same as $5,000 from a saint. And if the goal is hit $1 million, I need that $5,000.
Exactly. You tolerate the abuse because it feeds the GPS. But if your vision is a low-stress life where I'm present for my family, that client is active sabotage.
Ooh.
Even if they pay you, they are robbing you of the destination. They are costing you your peace.
So you fire them. That is terrifying, though. Turning down revenue.
It is terrifying if you are only looking at the top line. It is necessary if you are looking at the bottom line, both financial and emotional.
Okay.
And here's the math that makes it easier. We usually find that the bottom 20% of your clients, the headaches, produce very little actual profit.
Is that right?
They consume 80% of your emotional energy but contribute maybe 5% to the net profit because you spend so much time managing them.
So you are trading 5% of your profit for 80% of your sanity. That is a bad trade.
It's a terrible trade. So you fire them, and yes, revenue dips for a month, but your capacity goes up.
Right.
Your team's morale goes up because your team hates working for those guys too. And suddenly you have the space to find a 10-10 client who pays full price and respects your boundaries.
So the vision gives you the courage to say no.
Correct. And this extends to pricing. You begin pricing for the life you want, not just to be competitive.
Pricing for the life you want. Unpack that.
Let's go back to the Patriarch Park example. If your vision involves taking Fridays off to coach baseball, that means you can't be on the job site on Fridays.
Okay.
Which means you need to hire a foreman or a lead tech to run things. That person costs money. Let's say they cost $60,000 a year.
Got it. A real number.
Therefore, your margins need to be higher to support that salary. You aren't just raising prices to be greedy. You are raising prices because the vision requires that structure.
I see.
Your price has to cover the cost of your freedom.
So the vision dictates the budget, not the other way around.
Exactly. It connects to the concept of profit foundation, which is the title of Hurst's book. The foundation isn't accounting. The foundation is clarity.
Clarity on the why.
When you know why you need the profit to hire the ops manager so you can be free, the path to getting it becomes obvious.
Right.
You stop feeling guilty about charging more because you know what that margin is buying. It isn't buying a yacht. It's buying your ability to be a father.
That makes so much sense. It stops being arbitrary numbers and starts being a roadmap to freedom.
Yeah.
But I want to address one last trap.
Okay.
The treadmill.
Yeah.
What happens when you hit the goal? Say you get the cabin, you get the manager, you hit the million. What happens next?
This is the what happens next issue, and it is where so many high achievers crash. Scenario, you hit $1 million. You ask, what now?
Right.
The default answer is usually, I guess, $2 million.
Because that's what comes after one. We are conditioned to think more is better.
Right. But there is no excitement. It's just more. And without a vision, there is no natural stopping point. There is no celebration. It is an endless treadmill.
They're just running until you fall off.
And we see guys fall off all the time. Heart attacks at 50, divorces, selling the business for scraps because they just can't do it anymore.
So what's the solution?
The solution is strategic stacking. Your 90-day goals should serve your 1-year vision, which serves your 3-year destination. You need to know where the finish line is, or at least where the rest stop is.
Okay, break that down with an example.
Let's say your 3-year vision, the cabin, is The business runs without me. That is the destination.
Okay, that's the dream for a lot of people.
So your one-year vision becomes remove myself from daily operations. You are still owning it, still leading, but not turning wrenches.
Step one, a clear milestone.
And your 90-day goal becomes hire and train an operations manager.
Ah, I see. So you aren't just hiring a guy because you are busy. You aren't just reacting to the chaos.
No.
You are hiring him because he is the key to the one-year goal, which is the key to the 3-year freedom.
Exactly. Every tactical move is linked to the ultimate destination. It gives meaning to the mundane. You aren't just reviewing resumes. You are reviewing your ticket to freedom.
It transforms the grind into building.
It transforms the grind into building, and there is a massive difference between grinding and building. Grinding wears you down to dust. Building creates something that stands on its own.
100%. I feel like we need to pause here and put this back on the listener.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of theory, a lot of stories, defensive pessimism, GPS versus cabin, drilling down. But this only works if you actually do the work.
It's time for a listener audit. This is a direct challenge to every service business owner listening, whether you are in Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids, or beyond.
I want you to do this right now. If you're driving, keep your eyes on the road, but do this mentally. If you're sitting at your desk, grab a sticky note.
Do it.
Think of your current main goal for this year, the big number, the big target.
Got it. Okay. Now be honest, brutally honest. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you about hitting that goal?
Don't say 10 just because you think you should. Listen to your gut. Is it a hell yes, I can't wait? Or is it a heavy sigh and a I guess so?
And if it is not a 10, ask yourself the magic question, what would make it a 10?
What would make it a 10? Maybe it's not $1 million. Maybe it's $800K, but with Fridays off.
Yeah.
Maybe it's $1.5 million, but you finally hire that VP of sales so you never have to cold call again.
Or maybe the revenue number stays the same, but the purpose changes. It's not make $500 K, it's secure the down payment for the lake house.
Find the thing that lights you up. Because the cost of realistic is too high.
That is the thought I want to leave people with. The cost of realistic. We think realistic is safe. But the cost is another year of your life.
Another year you can't get back.
Another year of building someone else's version of success while you quietly burn out in the background.
You are trading your life for this business. Make sure you are getting a trade you are happy with.
Precisely. The winners of the next 5 years won't be the ones working the hardest. We all work hard.
We're all maxed out on hard work.
The winners will be the ones who know exactly where they are going.
Now, speaking of winners and research, we have a pretty cool opportunity for our listeners today.
We do.
We mentioned Ryan Hurst and Media Ace Advisors throughout this deep dive.
Yes. Ryan is currently in the thick of research for the second edition of his book, Profit Foundation. And he is doing something really interesting. He isn't just looking at spreadsheets or reading white papers. He is conducting high-level peer collaborations.
He's actually interviewing service business owners, specifically looking for folks in the greater Lansing and Grand Rapids areas, or really anywhere in Michigan, to validate these patterns we talked about.
The empty victories, the vision struggles, all of it.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear, this isn't a sales pitch. He's not trying to sell you consulting on these calls.
No. This is not a sales call.
It is a strategic conversation to help shape industry insights. He wants to hear your story. He wants to know if what we talked about today resonates with your reality.
So if you are sitting there thinking, man, I am stuck in the 5-10 trap, and you want to help shape this book and probably get some serious clarity on your own 10-10 vision in the process,
Which is a huge side benefit.
you can actually reach out to him directly.
It's a rare chance to get a free strategic audit while contributing to the field. It's a collaborative project.
You can call or text Ryan directly. I'm going to give you the number. Grab a pen. It's 517-955-2154.
That's 517-955-2154.
Reach out. Have the conversation. Stop chasing the GPS coordinates and find your cabin.
Because if you don't define your victory, someone else will define it for you. And trust me, you won't like their version.
That's it for this deep dive. We will catch you on the next one. Keep building.